One of the most common questions I get when it comes to speaking is, how do I memorize it? How do I remember what I'm going to say? And it's a big worry for people because we don't want to get on stage and suddenly lose our place and forget what we were trying to talk about. That is traumatic. Now, I think what's important to really realize is there is a difference between memorizing a speech and trying to remember it word for word, and this is what I'm going to say, and that's when I'm going to say it, and this is the body language I'm going to do, and then I'm going to move here, and I'm going to do that, and try and memorize that, which is pretty stressful, versus internalizing a speech where you know what you want to say, you know your story, you can see the journey you're taking the audience on, and then you take them on it. And even if on that journey you lose your way and you maybe get a little bit confused, you can find your place and carry on moving. When it's a memorized speech, and I see this time and time again, and you might have seen it too, when someone forgets what they were going to say or they lose their place, you'll see them go, can I start over? Traumatic. We don't want that. So what is the difference? Now, I came across the best explanation of this on the Leadership Summit call that I did with world champion Lance Miller. And he was talking about the difference between memorizing and knowing a speech or internalizing a speech. And the way he described it, I want to share with you because it's powerful. If you go to a new country that you've never been to before, you don't have a GPS, and you've got access to a map for 20 minutes before someone takes it away and you need to get from A to B. You are going to memorize the directions of A to B, the street names, when to turn left, when to turn right, how many steps to take before you will get to where you're going. And you will memorize that, and then they take away the map, and now you go out into the middle of nowhere and you try to find your way. Now, it all goes fine if you can follow step by step the instructions and directions that you've memorized. But if on that journey you take the wrong road, you're going to get lost because you don't know where you are, and now you're not sure how to find the next step, and you might have to retrace right back to the beginning and start again. Okay, like a memorized speech. On the other hand, if you know where you're going, so if you're driving from home to work, something you do all the time, and you know that route, if there is a traffic jam or an accident and you suddenly need to find another way around, you know how to move towards where you're going because you know the landscape, you know where you're going. That's when you know a speech. That's when it's internalized. That's where if you go down a one-way street, you gracefully do a U-turn, come back out and carry on going. You don't have to start again. And so as speakers, it is empirical that we learn to know our speeches rather than to try and memorize them. And the quickest way to know a speech is through story. When you're sharing a story that you've lived, that you've experienced, that you went through, you're not having to remember what comes next. You were there. You know what comes next. So look at the speeches you're giving and the way you're writing them. If you are struggling to remember what comes next, your audience is going to struggle to follow you, for one. You're going to be stressed delivering it, for two. But most importantly, if you can start telling stories that you know, or speaking in analogies that you can see, and you can see where you're taking the audience, then you will have internalized your speech. And even if you make a mistake, you will find your way back and you will carry on. So I really hope this is something that you can use. Look at, am I memorizing or am I internalizing? And what can I do to help myself know my speech and know where I'm going and know where I'm taking my audience, know my message, so that even if my speech time gets cut in half, I can still deliver what I came to say. That means you know where you're going. Good luck. If you need help, please reach out. I'm always here to help speakers take their speaking to the next level, to present with power. Feel free to subscribe so that I can keep giving you tips, tricks, and techniques for presenting with power. I am Verity. It is my pleasure to share my love of speaking with you.